We had been married for about a year, and we were 20, 21. Then we got a call that they were looking for a pastor in Andrews, South Carolina. So we packed up as little babies and
put everything we had in the back of one U-Haul truck
Yeah.
and moved to Andrews. It was good. I mean, It wasn't great by any means. I mean, there were struggles just like everybody. And then when the infertility and that type of stuff started happening and the fertility treatment's not working and all that put a strain, a huge strain on us. You know, the desires we had, the wants and all that we had not taken place, you know, and of course it led to fighting and bickering, which led to a division, I guess.
I mean, when we left to go to Andrews, I'd just miscarried a couple of weeks prior. And we get there and pastoring a church for a year and a half with infertility issues and trying to go through IVF and all these crazy changes. And I feel like it was a lonely time without my family, you know, but I leaned on the people in the church that that had become my family. And while we were there, obviously IVF is expensive, and they gave us $20,000 for in vitro. And then when the in vitro didn't work, they gave us $30,000 for the adoption. And for me, at that point, no matter what you say to me until the end of time, like, I love you forever. You know, like, you're my people. And so when things started going downhill, it was this huge thing for me. Like, you gave me my whole world. Like, how do I leave the people that gave me my whole world? When we decided that we were going to come home, I had this grieving period of, I've left all these people that I love. And he's like, I don't want to have anything to do with it, right? And so we found ourselves like, not...
We were at two opposite ends of the spectrum.
We were.
And I felt like I was abandoned there. And, you know, so me, I'm like, if it happened there, what am I doing here? Everything I'd ever been taught, everything I'd ever learned, everything I ever believed, I just abandoned, because what's the point?
Once things started going in a direction that neither one of us anticipated, we stopped relying on God and we started focusing on ourselves. And we forgot about God and we forgot about each other. And we spent a couple of years there completely focused on ourselves and blaming each other for the lack of relationship that we had with each other, when in reality we had left our relationship with Christ, which in turn separated us from each other. Spiritually, I knew that I wasn't where I needed to be, but at that point, like he said, I almost just didn't care. And the fact that I didn't care was scary to me, and why I kept saying to him, we've got to do something here.
You know, she looked at me one morning and was like, we have to go to church. Like, our kids have to go to church, because it got to the point that she wouldn't leave it alone. And like, we're going to church. And I was like, well, let's go to the biggest one we can find, you know, and nobody will know me. I won't have to answer to anybody. They won't know if I'm there. Nobody will care if I'm there. And we'll be good.
It was my last-ditch effort to make myself feel better, because I was making plans to leave. Because he was no longer the guy that I married, and me with him was someone I didn't recognize. Like, I had become hateful and screamed at him all the time. And I hated who I was, and it was leaking into the way that I parent and the way that I treated my friends and family, and I couldn't live like that anymore. So I made one last-ditch effort and said, I'm going to need you to call Pastor DJ.
We sit down with him, and I'm thinking he's going to be like, yeah, that's awful and poor pitiful me. And he punched me in the mouth and was like, you have 2 kids, you've got a wife, you're not what you're supposed to be. And I'm like, I know this, but like, what do you do? And he said, I'm gonna set you up with our counseling ministry. And I'm like, man, I'm not doing counseling, but gave me a hope that it could change, because I was to the point of being okay being too far gone. Like, I had come to terms with it and was okay with the bed I'd made. And like, if she left, you know, this is who I am, this is what I'm gonna be. The fact that it wasn't like, okay, you screwed up, she needs to wash her hands of it, and it be done. It was, okay, you screwed up, but like, now what? There's a chance for restoration. There's a chance for hope. There's a chance for change. And, you know, for the first time in years, that came back on my radar. It was months that it was me coming in and getting blasted every time I come in, and it's not what I expected.
Well, I feel like when we first came to counseling, like you said, it was this giant pushback from him. Like, I know that you guys think that I'm wrong, but I'm not wrong. And I would leave each week and having poured my heart out and begged and pleaded, and I was like, what is it going to take? Like, when is this going to stick? Like, when is he going to let go and surrender all of his pride and just say, okay? The more that he was reading his Bible and the more that he surrounded himself with people that built him up instead of knocked him down, all of a sudden he woke up one day and he was a guy that I recognized. But I think it truly took a couple of months of building his relationship with Christ back. You know, just like with us, it took time to build us back. It took us time too to feel like we were close with God again. And once we felt that, everything around us was different. I could feel and see our marriage changing with just a quiet time and talking with our counselor and surrounding ourselves with people that truly cared about us and where we were with God. It changed our whole life.
No relationship is perfect. No marriage is perfect. No person is perfect. And if it takes counseling for you to realize that, then I think it's worth it.
New beginnings is our whole life the past couple of years wrapped up in just one little statement. Like, we came here in a deep, dark way, and we started fresh. And we made a new life for ourselves just sitting in the worship center here. And the real relationships that we built here have changed our whole life.